Hello and welcome to Nutshell Recaps. This video explains the synopsis of the movie Air. Warning, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, it will really help our channel grow. 1984 was a happy year since there were so many noteworthy events happening around the globe at the time. Basketball division talent scout Sonny Vaccaro was having a hard time finding fresh players who could improve the reputation of their shoe offerings. As the driving force behind a sports shoe firm, Sonny had to constantly be on the lookout for players who could generate revenue. Converse led the market in basketball shoe sales that year, accounting for 54% of total sales. Converse was followed by Adidas with 29% of the market, while Nike owned the remaining 17%. According to Howard White, the head of Nike's basketball shoe division, Adidas was popular among American teenagers at the time because many young rappers wore it. While Converse had already made a name for itself as a basketball shoe thanks to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, two basketball legends who served as Converse ambassadors. Nike itself still had the reputation of being a jogging shoe, which wasn't very lucrative. Due to the youth's lack of interest in running shoes, which indicated that it was insufficient to benefit from the teenagers. The basketball division of the Nike Shoe Company is the least profitable division overall. When Sonny learned that their company's motto, "Just do it," was borrowed from the last words of a death sentence awaiting the shooters who were about to be executed, he was not pleased. To decide which NBA rookie they will approach that year to serve as their new ambassador, a marketing division meeting chaired by Rob Strasser was conducted. It was impossible to approach the top pick, Hakeem Olajuwon, because he wouldn't choose Nike itself. Converse had previously made contact with the second pick, Sam Bowie, and the third pick, Michael Jordan, who had been on the verge of signing a contract with Adidas. With such a well-known brand, they were unable to negotiate. Sam Perkins, the fourth pick, was thought to be less attractive by the team. They were limited to choosing between the 5th and the 20th picks, thus. Although Charles Barkley of the 76ers and John Stockton of the Utah Jazz were also potential candidates, the squad decided against selecting both of them due to their respective disadvantages. Rob and Sonny left after the meeting ended without producing any outcomes. They ended up conversing with one another in the bathroom. Sonny then suggested Michael Jordan as the name they ought to use, but Rob objected on the grounds that it would be too costly to approach Jordan. Only $250,000 of the planned funding by Nike was enough to hire 3 players. Following that, Sonny went to see Nike CEO Phil Knight in his office. The company saw a decline in income the previous year, so the board instead advised dissolving the basketball division because it didn't generate much profit for the business. Phil wasn't happy to hear that, and he didn't want the budget to be confirmed. Despite this, Sonny continued to request a budget increase to double the offer, which Phil flatly rejected. Sonny objected since he was aware of how much money they were making off of selling running shoes. The basketball division shouldn't be treated unfairly by the firm. Phil continued by saying that although people use basketball shoes to play basketball, running shoes can be worn on a variety of occasions and are therefore more cost-effective. Sonny was still clinging to the notion that basketball was also lucrative, but Phil's response was a dull running theory. Resuming, the meeting soon became inactive once more. The survey was still being conducted by Sonny. Even advocates for cereal and other items were among the people he saw. Inquiries about basketball players with promising futures were another thing he remembered to do. He was simultaneously watching 2 shows one evening at Sonny's residence. The first one features Arthur Ashe as the spokesperson for a tennis racket. A product that is tailored to the user's personality was created by the company. The second is a clip of Michael Jordan scoring a crucial goal for North in a game that was captured on camera. Carolina. Sonny felt as if lightning had struck him. He watched the show numerous times, replaying the scene each time. The following day, Sonny joyfully visited Rob's office and shared what he had observed the previous evening. Rob didn't perceive anything unique about it, but Sonny afterwards offered another viewpoint based on what he had observed. Instead of senior player James Worthy receiving the ball at that critical moment, Michael Jordan, then 18 years old, received it. Sonny thought the coach had given the crucial seconds to an 18-year-old adolescent who didn't have to shoulder any weight in playing such a significant role. Young Michael Jordan had a tremendous aura about him, which gave Sonny even more motivation to sign him as a player. He was uninterested in 3 other players and would stop at nothing to sign Michael Jordan. Rob flatly declined the offer because he didn't want to play cards with just one person. The budget must still be spread to 3 players. Besides, if they want to offer $250,000, Adidas would be able to compete with it, and the opportunity to get an ambassador would be gone if they only approached a single player. Sonny then expressed his idea to Howard White, who was also skeptical that Phil would agree to Sonny's proposal. Sonny himself was not worried about it. He wondered how to contact Michael Jordan, who had made it known that he was an Adidas supporter, and what would be difficult to do before they approached Michael Jordan. Sonny, Michael Jordan's agent, then made contact with David Falk, Michael Jordan's agent, and requested to set up a meeting with Michael Jordan. David got right to the point by saying that it will never happen. He was informed by Michael Jordan personally that he didn't want to see any representatives from Nike. Sonny made an effort to remind David that Michael Jordan shouldn't sign a deal with the Killing Generation shoe brand since it was created by the Nazis and that Adidas is a Nazi-developed brand. Michael Jordan would only play if David confirmed to Sonny, to David's annoyance. They would meet with Converse and Adidas to sign the contract. When questioned about the offer leak, David disclosed that Adidas' initial offer was in the neighborhood of $200,000. Sonny was caught in a catch-22 since he understood that sum of money was excessive for a rookie, yet he promised Phil he was willing to jeopardize his career to uphold the terms of the deal. Sonny challenged Phil to keep in mind his company's tagline when he initially founded it: to engage in risky gambling. Nike had not yet prepared the formal offer, although Adidas and Converse were ready with it. In contrast to David Falk's assertion that they only accept requests for meetings with brands who have received an official offer, Phil wanted to meet with Michael Jordan before he could make an official offer. Following that, Sonny went to see George Raveling, a basketball coach for the American Olympic team who was also connected to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan reportedly stated that he would not want to join Nike because, according to George, the sneakers weren't that cool, even though Nike would provide him with a bonus and his ideal car in exchange for the deal. He was still unwilling to get into a deal with them. In reality, Michael Jordan was an Adidas devotee. Despite the fact that Converse sponsored his team, he continued to wear Adidas sneakers while working out and only changed into the sponsor shoes prior to the game. George stated that his mother, Delores Jordan, was the party with legal claim to Jordan's agreement. Sonny had considered going right to Michael Jordan's family, but George forewarned him that doing so might result in his termination. Sonny was aware of the repercussions and was willing to provide anything to complete the deal. He then told Howard White about this. Even if he forbade Sonny, he could understand his motivations and know that he wouldn't obey. Howard understood that Sonny knew the repercussions, so he wouldn't stop him from hearing it. Michael Jordan's father gave Sonny a warm welcome when he arrived in Carolina. The woman in charge of the residence was clearly Michael Jordan's mother. Michael Jordan and Sonny had not yet crossed paths at that time. Sonny was able to persuade Delores first, which was what she wanted. Sonny made an attempt to persuade Delores to change her mind by stating that if Michael Jordan signed a contract with Converse, he would join the company's other great players, whereas if he signed with Adidas, the company was experiencing serious problems due to the passing of Eddie Dassler. However, if Michael Jordan joined Nike, he would be the center of attention and would be treated with special consideration. Everyone was enraged when they heard Sonny's explanation. Even though David Falk ultimately delivered a word from Delores stating that Michael Jordan was prepared to meet the following Monday night, he lost his cool and yelled at Sonny for his rude behavior. Sonny's actions, which Phil believed went beyond what was expected of the CEO, didn't make him any less incensed. Even though he was furious, he still permitted Sonny to conduct the meeting, but at that point he still wasn't ready to make an official offer. Sonny continued the meeting even though he said he would think about it and perhaps even call it off. Rob was even looking forward to their meeting with Michael Jordan when he first met him. The moment Sonny entered the design space, he requested the creation of a prototype shoe for Michael Jordan. Sonny requested that Michael Jordan's charisma and personality be specifically incorporated into the design of the sneakers, placing more importance on aesthetics than on functionality. Only a few days were given to the designer to do that. The Converse firm was the first potential endorser that Michael Jordan finally met with. He was shown clips of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Julius Erving in Converse commercials. Delores started to realize that her kid would only be the fourth employee in the organization. She began to comprehend what Sonny had previously told her. Back to Nike, Peter Moore, the designer, had finished the prototype shoes for Jordan, but there were still things that weren't made to the expectation. The color was too flat, dominantly white. Peter explained that the design he made was adjusted to NBA regulations, where all shoes worn by players should be dominantly white colored. And if the player disobeyed the rules, a fine of $5,000 will be charged to the player per game. Rob then suggested that they use the prominent red color, which corresponds to the Chicago Bulls colors, and that they pay all Michael Jordan's fines. The plan was accepted, and they got to work. Peter then had another thought, which was to give the shoes the name Air, which was to be used for another product, and to add Michael Jordan's name after it. That marked the beginning of the renowned Nike basketball shoe known as Air Jordan. To finish the presentation in time for their meeting with Michael Jordan, this group worked late at the office and even arrived on the weekend. The final design was completed by Peter by himself. Everybody was astounded and in awe of the design. Saturday saw a meeting between Adidas and Michael Jordan's parents. Several styles of the shoes that Michael Jordan would receive were displayed to the group. Delores wasn't happy with the way the design turned out. She also observed that, similar to what Sonny had previously stated, Adidas didn't appear to have a single major decision-maker. That Sunday afternoon, Phil dropped by the Nike headquarters and observed his crew struggling mightily to make tomorrow's meeting. Phil inquired for the name of the sneaker without any more ado. Sonny brought up the moniker Air Jordan, which Peter had mentioned the previous evening. The team began to plan the offer and the meeting strategy that evening after Phil eventually agreed to hold a meeting the following day after he had initially expressed hesitation with that moniker. They exuded excitement and seemed certain that they could accomplish the task. Unsurprisingly, the following day saw the entrance of the future legend, Michael Jordan, and his parents at the Nike office in a location close to the Oregon Rockies. To discuss the contract proposal, they were there. Delores warned Sonny that because Michael Jordan had to be pushed to attend the meeting, he would come out as indifferent. Sonny and Rob tried to joke with Michael Jordan, but he really didn't seem interested in responding. Howard White was present to help break the ice, which is fortunate. Once he viewed the prepared prototype shoes, Michael Jordan was drawn to them. The original Air Jordan was predominantly red, matching the color of the Chicago Bulls uniform. Rob and Sonny made the comment that they were prepared to pay the fine. In order to create the appearance that he was purposefully too busy, Phil then arrived late, saving time to go to this crucial meeting. Then, Rob showed a presentation to Sonny that was boring before making a marketing speech on the printed media's publication schedule. He abruptly asked Rob to stop showing the presentation and launched into an upbeat speech that touched Michael Jordan and his family to the core. He said that if Michael Jordan signed a contract with one of the other companies, he would be able to receive all the money and fame, but Nike had something different in mind. He will receive an eternity in return. Until someone steps on them, shoes are simply that, shoes. If time had gone, everyone in the room would have been forgotten, but not Michael. Their Air Jordan shoes bear the name Jordan. Michael Jordan's name was to become a legend that endured forever, according to Nike. The Jordan family could not respond to that remark. The formal offer letter Phil had produced was promptly handed over. The largest contract offer ever made to an athlete by Nike. Michael Jordan was the star that Nike had been looking for, and they were confident that he was the one. Delores was persuaded by the oration. Then, after requesting that they wait, she produced the contract. The group had recognized the sign that indicated the meeting had been successful in getting the superstar to forget about Adidas. Although he was a little insulted by Sonny's earlier comment that their names would all be forgotten, Phil was quite respectful of Sonny's remarks. Phil Knight, the creator of Nike, believed that his name should be compared to those of other legendary figures, such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. As Sonny and the others waited for Dolores's news over the following few days, it was tense. The future goddess may be on their side, or things could go nasty. A few days later, Howard White, who had grown close to Jordan's father, and not Michael Jordan, made the call. He learned through a leak that Adidas had resubmitted their offer with the Mercy 380 SL automobile and the same price as Nike. They couldn't afford to make a higher offer because it was the most they could do, so Sonny immediately felt guilty. Rob, who had been a huge help to him in managing the project, was someone Sonny could not stand to see. Since the Nike basketball division might be shut down by tomorrow, he also thought that today would be his last day working there. However, the call that would change everything came from Delores herself, who he had never expected to be the one to make it. All of Michael Jordan's decisions were now entirely under her control. They chose to join with Nike, she claimed, rejecting Adidas's offer. That news made Sonny incredibly delighted. Delores agreed to Nike's offer of $250,000 plus a bonus of a red Mercedes-Benz 380 SL, but only under one other condition, a clause that will completely alter the terms of the contract between a product and the brand ambassador. Sonny and Nike were urged by Delores to follow through on their promise to use Michael Jordan's name on their footwear, which they had previously echoed in a promotional statement. She also insisted that her son receive a portion of the sales royalties on each pair of Air Jordan shoes sold and that all Air Jordan merchandise bear a label bearing his name. When Sonny learned it, he was stunned. There had never been a contract like this. Even trying to pay attention to this request was quite challenging. Delores then retorted that she was aware of the sponsors' requirements for the athletes they had hired, including the requirement that they consistently and beautifully perform in order to increase sales. For it to be equally fair for both parties, she merely requested a win-win solution. They have to have faith in Michael Jordan's ability to deliver an outstanding performance. Shoes will always be a shoe until someone puts his foot on them, Delores continued, quoting Sonny's words. Delores continued to urge that the offer be subject to the submission requirement even after Sonny amended it. Michael Jordan's response kept Phil waiting with bated breath. Finally, they were forced to face the news that Sonny had delivered. It was unexpected that Phil would not be bothered by the news. A deal was accepted, and he instructed Sonny to get in touch right away. He decided to utilize the same catchphrase he had previously used to launch the business: take the risk. After that, Sonny got in touch with Delores to let her know that the business would take all of the requests. Sonny summoned Rob to attend the office area where he made the announcement that they had been successful in securing a future star for the best contract now that they had hooked their target star. The most successful contract ever happened to the company. Thanks to the shoe sales, what Phil had previously dreamed of earning $3 million in a year finally came true, even exceeding the expectation. As much as $162 million were made from the first Air Jordan sales in the first year alone. The extraordinary income from the first Air Jordan changed Nike's image instantly. Nike had received an average annual income of $4 billion thanks to Air Jordan, and Michael Jordan continued to receive a passive income up until this point. Every year, revenue from the sale of Air Jordan shoes pays him a regular salary of about $400 million. Peter Moore then developed a fresh idea for the Air Jordan sneaker emblem following the release of the first pair. Michael Jordan's silhouette that he copied from a photograph as he was making a layup. The paradigm of contracts between players and products that is being used today was revolutionized by Michael Jordan's contract with the Nike Corporation.